Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today in the student panel for our Master of Advanced Management. We are here today with 3 of our students, which I'm very grateful to because they are extremely busy with their program, probably recruiting, and also, with extracurriculars and then also family or personal affairs. So thank you so much for joining me on a Friday. The way we're going to proceed is I'm going to ask each of our panelists to introduce themselves, tell us their name, the school they did their MBA at prior to coming to the MAM, because an MBA is a requirement to join the MAM program. Then your hometown, where do you come from? And then past work experience prior to the MAM. And then finally, 1 or 2 groups or activities that you have joined at SOM outside of the classroom. After that, we're gonna start asking our panelists questions, and I ask the attendees to please put those questions on the Q&A. I will then be reading some of those questions that come live. I also thank participants that have submitted questions ahead of time, so I have them in front of me. I might be asking some of those questions. And for our panelists, I will be directing questions randomly to one of you, but if anybody wants to answer as well, just let me know and we'll just take it from there. Sounds good? Okay, yes. Thank you so much. So Amran, I'm gonna start with you. If you could introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, of course. Thank you everyone for being here. My name is Anran. Prior to coming to SOM, I did my MBA at University of Cambridge, Judge Business School, and I come from Fujian, China. So before my MBA, I was working in a multi-asset investment team, managing over 3 billion AUM in Hong Kong. So really glad to share with you my experience.
And your hometown and some activities you have joined at SOM?
Yeah, so my hometown is China, Fujian. I want to mention 2 clubs that I am part of at SOM. So I'm part of the investment management club, where we share a lot of knowledge about investment management. I'm also part of the poker club, where we organize like weekly Texas Hold'em games.
Thank you so much. Elaine, can we go next with you?
Yeah, sure. So good morning, everybody. Sorry for my voice. I just got out of a cold. So my name is Hélène Sen, Senegalese and French. I come from the MBA of the HEC Paris in France. And before the MBA, I was doing 7 years in IT consulting, lately working for Tata Consultancy Services in digital transformation projects. And since joining the MIM, I've been part of the tech club and the consulting club, which is very exciting. Like we learn a lot and it's very important for recruiting. So yeah, here I am and happy to walk you through my experience.
Thank you so much. And last but definitely not least, Mauricio.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mauricio. I am from Chile. I study in Pontifical Catholic University in Chile, my MBA, but also my undergrad. I am a former entrepreneur. I created a company in climate tech space. I exited in 2021, and then I became LP and venture partner of a VC fund. So I wanted to come here to the SOM to keep exploring the VC side. And I joined a main fund, which is a 100% run, a student-run VC fund here at SOM, and I also participated in SciCity Climate Innovation. Something that may be interesting for the people here is that I'm a father as well. I came with my wife, who was pregnant at the time. So I had my son born here at Yale. So yeah, it has been a super important experience.
Wow, like a complete experience, family and educational experience.
Yeah.
I'm going to introduce myself. I forgot to do it at the very beginning. So attendees probably don't know who I am. My name is Camino de Paz. I'm the Assistant Dean of Global Network Programs at Yale School of Management. And part of my portfolio is overseeing admissions for the MAM, which is the program we're talking about today, and the GBS, the Master in Global Business and Society, which is a pre-experience program. Okay, so we're going to start with the questions. The first one is going to be for all three of you. So I know I said I was going to be directing questions to just one of you, but this one I think is interesting for each of you to answer, which is basically, why did you decide to do the MAM? This is a question we get all the time. You've done an MBA at a top school in the world. You could very well have gone back to the workforce and you don't need an additional degree. So what was your reasoning and motivation to pursue a second graduate degree on top of the MBA? What did the MAM have to offer to complement your MBA education to take you to your next level, whatever that might be? So Anran, can I start with you?
Yeah, of course, I'll go first. As I mentioned before, I did my MBA at Cambridge Judge Business School. It was an intensive one-year program. And I felt like I really wanted to take what I have learned at Judge to a deeper level. And also I wanted to focus on finance. So some of you might have known that at MAM, but most of the courses are electives. So you can choose whatever courses you're interested in, build your own curriculum. That was why it was very attractive to me. So to be honest, 80% of my courses here are focused on finance. So you really can do what you really want. Another reason is that I have worked and studied and lived in Asia and UK and France. I studied 3 years in France as well. So I feel like I really wanted to experience US. So this one-year program really gave me the opportunity to immerse myself in business and society in the US at a top US university. That's why I decided to come to Yale.
Thank you. Alan. You're muted. You're muted. You have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, sorry. So like Anran said, for me too, it was very important to like experience what it was studying into a top institution like Yale. The motto of Yale also like had a calling for me. Coming from Africa, business and society is resonating a lot with me. And after the MBA, during the MBA, mostly you learn like the core competencies of a manager. I wanted, coming from a STEM background because I majored in computer science, I wanted to learn also the technicalities of having to take decisions with data. So like the STEM concentration was very important to me, and I did not regret it because we learned a lot through our electives in STEM. And economic policies also was very interesting to me. So I'm also taking also courses at Jackson Global School of Affairs. So the MIM was kind of a like bigger experience to complete on my MBA, to have like the different view on how economic policies, on how data analytics, coding can help a manager into taking better decisions. So all of these reasons drove me to apply for the MIM.
Thank you. Mauricio.
Yeah, I share some things from my colleagues, but I just want to add that when I did my MBA, I enrolled in that MBA because I wanted to come to the Yale School of Management. So it was something that I started way before I did my MBA. I wanted to have the international experience, understanding the US market, but something that resonates with my mission a lot was the business and society part. At some point of life, I also consider to go to the environment school, not only Yale SOM, because the environment school is also super good in Yale. But I ended up going to this program because it's a perfect mix, as Amran said, where you can take courses from all different schools. Actually, I'm taking a course now in architecture, so it's something that is super interesting for me.
Thank you so much. Mauricio, don't mute yourself because I'm going to be targeting the next question to you. So we had somebody submit a question and I want to see what your take is. Then I can complement from the admission side. But what is an important requirement for a candidate? So this person wants to know what is most important, the GMAT, your story, the reasoning for choosing the MAN, the recommendation letters. What do you think were your strengths when applying, and what did you get offer admission into the program? Then I will answer from admissions, but I want to see how did you experience the whole process and what do you think were your strengths?
Yeah, it's a super good question. Actually, I think that the process is super holistic. So in terms of GMAT, I know that too many people is worried about GMAT scores, but I've heard GMATs from 600 to almost 800. I have a friend who made 770, other that made 620. But at the end of the day, what I think is that the GMAT is just a small part on the process. I'm like in the middle. I'm like median, I think, at this time. But the most important part is what are you bringing to the table? What will be your contribution here? And I think that Camino does a super good job trying to find out how to create a cohort that is balanced, that and also we can share experiences from different parts of the world. And we are not everyone from one industry. We have like a super good mix between consulting, energy, investment banking. I am entrepreneur, so there are different approaches. And I think that at the end you have to think, what is your value proposition to the cohort? So how can you help the cohort grow? And yeah, so that's my point.
Thank you. I would just highlight what you just said. It's a holistic process. We're looking for bringing in the right people. We're building a class, so we want to have representation from different industries, different personalities. But the thing that everybody has to have in common is that they really need to understand our mission and make sure that they will embrace it, not just during the time that they are with us, but for their lifetime, for their professional careers. Our students will be ambassadors of Yale SOM for life, and that's something I really pay close attention when we are admitting candidates. I am just gonna give a hint to anybody who wants to submit an application. I know that Yale is a top school, and everybody is very impressed with the reputation of the school. That is not something I like to hear in the admission process. I understand that, but I want to know why the MAM. I want to know what is in this program for you and how the program is going to help you advance in your career. So while you might be thinking in the process what I can get from Yale and the MAM, I am also thinking, what can you give to Yale and the MAM? So we need to find a common ground there. So if you tell me you want to come to Yale because of the reputation of the school, that's not going to impress me much, because that is what anybody would answer. I just want to know why this journey is important to you and how this is going to help you. So anyway, this is about our panelists, but I just couldn't miss the opportunity because sometimes we have very strong profiles and the first thing they say is, oh, I want to come to Yale because it's Yale. And that's pretty much the end of it. Okay, next question. Let me go through this. Let's see somebody. Okay, this one. Anran, I'm gonna ask you this one. Are there opportunities for the MAM students to engage with the Yale SOM MBA students? What are the relationships across those two programs and the students?
Yeah, of course, there are lots of opportunities where you can engage with MBAs, both in the classroom and in extracurricular activities. So for example, most of my courses that I take are in conjunction with the MBAs. So because only 2 courses in the MAM are core courses and the rest are electives. So when you choose the electives, most of the time you will be studying with the MBA second year. So that's like in classroom activities. And then extracurriculum activities, as I mentioned, there are a lot of professional clubs like investment management club, private equity and venture capital club, a lot of other tech clubs as well. So in those clubs, you can also engage with MBA students, share experience. Also, for example, in investment banking club that I know, so the club leaders, they are second-year MBAs who have done summer internships in an investment bank. And those people, those MBAs, they will share their recruiting tips with both the MBA first year and MAMs. So this is a very great opportunity to really interact with second-year MBAs. One thing that I want to point out, as I say, I'm a poker club leader. So we organize weekly poker nights where the entire SOM is invited. Whoever wants to play can come and show your game theory skills.
Thank you so much. Elaine, we have a question from the audience asking, and this is important. It's a little bit confusing. How do you craft your curriculum? So basically, this person is asking, apart from the SOM electives, how many other courses you can choose from? Where can you find the list of courses? Are there any limitations? How many credits you have to take? How do you go about planning your program? Because you're building your own program. How is that process? Where do you find the information? And what are the limitations on how many classes can you take, and how does that work?
Okay, great question. Like from the beginning, there is no limitation. Like the program is 40 credits, and we are advised to have 20 credits in fall and 20 credits in spring. But most students take more, even though it's advised to take less, because already 40 credits, we are like almost dying on the homeworks. It's very intense, especially when you take the STEM concentration. But then regarding the electives, you can take it anywhere. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Camino, we cannot only take electives in the School of Medicine and School of Law, I think, depending on the electives. But then whatever you want to learn, you can go and learn it. In my case, I'm going to Jackson Global School of Affairs for anything related to policy and economy. Mauricio mentioned that he's taking architecture. I have some friends also in class who are taking psychology. So it depends. Whatever you want to learn, you can learn it. This spring too, I'm taking Spanish classes, which is undergrad. So, so you can learn whatever you want, and I think that's what makes the MIM so interesting, because you are getting taught by very experienced professors at SOM. And wherever school you go into Yale, you still also have the same extreme quality of education. You learn a lot. You can also, beside MBAs, talk to very intelligent undergrads who have also done internships in some companies that might interest you. So you kind of build a big community within the MIM. That's very, very unique as a experience.
Thank you so much. We have a very quick question here that I will answer is, what is the starting date for the next intake or cohort? Is August. So our next intake starts in August. Orientation starts on August 12th, and it's mandatory. Everybody who will join the program has to be here by August 12th. And then graduation is in mid-late May. So it's a very quick 1-year program. We're currently in our round 2 of admissions. Deadline is February 21st. So there's still time to submit applications in round 2. And then we do have another round, third round, that is April. And everything is on our website. So I just want to make sure I answered that question. Anran, I'm going to ask you this next one, because it's about the CDO careers. But before I ask the question, I just want to make a general comment that I know that a lot of people that apply to this program are hoping to then stay and work in the US, and that is not easy. Let me put it out there. It's not an easy task if you don't have a permanent resident card, or if you are not a US citizen. Is it impossible? No, it's not. And some students manage to secure a job in the US. Everybody could apply for OPT, optional practical training. But the caveat is that you need a job offer, and that is something that is out of our control. And no matter how much we say it, I know that people think that because you're coming to Yale, it's a school that everybody knows, that it's gonna be easy. And I just want to put it out there, it's not as easy as you think it could potentially be. Impossible? No. And it also depends very much on the health of the job market. Like during COVID, I think that there was a need of a strong workforce. So we had a better outcome in terms of placing our students in the US. But when the job market is healthy, sorry, when it's shrinking and they're not recruiting as much, it's more difficult for international students to stay. So I just want to put it out there, because I understand that that could be something that people are interested in, but you should always have a plan B, and you should never plan to do the MAM just with the solely goal of staying in the US, because then is when the frustration could come. So we have a question, Anran, now it's gonna be for you about career resources, the CDO. How do you work with the CDO? And what are the resources that you might be leveraging there, if you are, which I have no idea. If not, I'll just pass it on to, I know Mauricio is an entrepreneur, so maybe he's working less with the CDO. I start with you, but if not, anybody can answer.
Yeah, so I'll start. As I mentioned, I mostly focus on finance. So CDO has a lot of great resources in finance. For example, we have free access to Wall Street Prep, where there are a lot of online videos about financial modeling and, really to ramp up your knowledge in finance up to the speed. Also, there's the Private Equity and Venture Capital Club, where experienced MBAs and MAMs come and share, some of the job descriptions they see, or like share their network. So it's a great club to network. Also, there's investment management club, where we share a lot of information about case competitions. So I actually attended a lot of conferences and competitions. One of the events I wanted to highlight here is Women in Alternative Investment Conference. It was in New York in October last year, about 500 attendees. And then we really met impressive women in this industry, in the alternative investment industry. So apart from CDO, there's also the Professional Communication Center, which is really helpful because they help you craft your resume, refine your wording, especially helpful for non-native speakers. Maybe Ellen could also add a few cents on the CDO.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, like the CDO is really, really helpful. I mean, we see like the webpage is the same for the second year MBAs as for the MIMs. We have access to the same jobs, to the same trainings, unless like most of the time recruiters would say if they require a permanent US work authorization or not. But like Camino mentioned, it's like at this moment, the market is really tough. Most people are struggling, even the Yale MBA. So I would say when you come here, come with an open mind. Keep in mind that the job market is really, really bad everywhere. But yeah, the CDO offers trainings, job offers. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of jobs that you can apply to. We have trainings on how to search, how to craft our CV. We have access to, I forgot the name, a tool that is helping you to kind of grade your CV. You have access to the Professional Communication Center on how to present yourself, how to craft your recommendation letter. So yeah, it's I think it's a holistic help from the CDO, which every candidate should take advantage of.
Thank you so much. Mauricio, we have a question, which is a follow-up about something that you mentioned before. And people want to know what is Site City and what are the working opportunities during the program? Can you work during the program? If so, how much? Is it advisable or will that hurt your performance? What can you say about this? But first, what is Site City?
Yeah, Site City is a part of the university that is not from SOM. It's like an independent department founded by Yale alumni that founded a big corporation called Alibaba. It's the co-founder of Jack Ma, and he's called Joe Tsai. So he basically donated a lot of money to create a building, and this building promotes innovation and entrepreneurship, but very broadly, from the arts to technology to climate tech. So they do a lot of activities there, and you can participate as a student, like joining an event, or you can participate in the organization if you want. So you have opportunities of work there. as you are international, many of you probably are international students, you can work on campus only. So you can have this kind of jobs. And I think that they're pretty well paid. But you have to apply and it's super competitive. Everyone wants to work. In terms of the main fund, which I'm working in, it's a busy fund, but it's volunteer program, so I am not receiving any compensation for that. But I would say that it's also super competitive. I think that they receive around 200 applications for 10 positions. So I'm very glad that I get one. Yeah, Joan just said if it's advisable. I would say that the program is pretty much super intense. The MAM in the MAM we are taking 5 courses per semester, like in average, and in the MBA you take 4, and in undergrad is 4 as well. GBS I think is 4 too. So the MAM I think is a little bit more intense, but you always have time. I mean, you are here for a reason. You are gonna be here only 9 months, so be prepared to work, I don't know, 80 hours a week. That's the average if you want to do something besides studying. So for instance, in Menga, I spend around 15 hours a week, but I'm also building a startup with some classmates, and I spend another 20 hours there besides classes. And I am a father as well, so you can manage.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mauricio.
I wanted
sorry,
to
go
add
ahead,
something
Anran.
to the innovation and entrepreneurship part, because I know that a lot of MAMs are not aware of. There is a Yale Venture Fund, which is part of the Yale Investment Office. So every year they recruit MBAs and MAMs to help them to source the deals and also evaluate the projects by faculties. So that's a really interesting project if you are interested in early stage ventures. And I think application opens in September. So once you join SOM, you can start.
Thank you so much. I don't want to miss this opportunity to then throw another message to our audience. I think people think that the difficult part is getting into the program. And yes, that is, I'm not going to say that it is easy, but then you actually have to perform in the program. And so I just want to make sure that people understand what they're getting themselves into. This is a very, very, very competitive school. So you have to come prepared. We're going to put you to work hard. So the easy part is actually not getting into it, is actually performing in the program. The good news here is that you have total freedom to choose your courses. So choose wisely. Make sure that you choose things that you are interested in, that you can be strong at, and that is going to be great. And for the most part, our students are successful, but I would say that the first few weeks is a little bit of a shock because they do need to adjust to everything. The school, the culture, and the work. So just putting it out there that it's not just getting in, it's actually performing in the program as well. And this links to a question that, Ellen, I'm gonna ask you to answer. How would you describe the culture of the students and the professors, the culture that is created in the MAM program?
I would say that like we have 2 core courses, which is like global leadership courses, that is very kind of collaborative. And I mean, it's part of the culture at SOM because most courses you will have as deliverables to extend like projects. But yeah, I mean, people are very welcoming from the staff to the students. Second year in particular, I don't know why, but they really love us. I think they are like, oh my God, they are so much under pressure. But yeah, everybody is very collaborative, very helpful. Whenever you ask someone on Slack, which is the tool we use to talk about what is happening into SOM, whenever you reach out to somebody, everybody is always happy to help, happy to give you insights, happy to give you referrals regarding the alumni. So I would say very collaborative, very warm. Yeah, and New Haven is like a small city, so everybody feels like home here. So yeah, I would say very warm, collaborative, and very hardworking. Like the culture was a shock too. Very hardworking, very fast-paced. So like Amino said, just come ready. But yeah, you will have friends that will keep you, stay in place.
Thank you so much. Mauricio, you mentioned that you moved to New Haven with your family. Not only that, but you became a father while you were in the program. So there are people that come with families as well. I want you to share like your experience. How was it moving, into a different country, into New Haven, and then again with your wife, your newborn, everything, how that has been on top of the program. Like, forget about the program for 1 second. Tell us a little bit about your experience moving, and what advice would you give to those that are planning to move with a family, not just one themselves?
Yeah, it has been hard, but um, I mean the community is super important here. I think, for instance, uh, you were mentioned about the MBAs or the school, but I would say that the School of Management has like a broader community just than the MBAs. For instance, I when I came here, I reached out to MAM's alumni, and they helped me a lot. For instance, one of them came to see the apartment, the other one helped me with some things that I bought in IKEA. He shared his car. So there's a broader community than just the classmates. Second is that the professors were super keen to me. They helped me a lot. I missed like 3 weeks of classes because my wife, the process was not so easy in the hospital. And I get super good scores in every course. So I could say that it's super supportive. But just a piece of advice is that you have to start planning soon. Start looking for apartments. If you can apply before, I apply in second round. I would, if I could apply to first round, but I think that it's already gone. But if you can apply to first round, it's better than second because you have more options for housing. Yeah, and something that I would really recommend if you're coming with family, once you are enrolled, just try to come to New Haven as soon as possible and understand how it works here. It's a small town, so it's important for you to know where are you gonna be located. I am in a place that is super good for families, but maybe if you are not coming with family, you prefer another places that are more fun. But I'm a super good place for families, like at the end of each rock, that's super quiet. So I would recommend you to come here. If you are coming with a family, it's not like just you came with your baggage and the first day you go to school. It's something that you have to prepare a little bit in advance.
Thank you so much. And Ron, this question is for you. So how do you compare the experience in your UK MBA with your experience in the MAM-IL? What is the main difference? What are the similarities? How do you compare one experience to the other?
So I would say that at Yale, it's really a warm community and a lot of work. So I think Cambridge was a great experience because we were part of the colleges. There was a lot of social events. We had a lot of like college competitions. At Yale, the SOM community is really helpful, and people here are really, really hardworking. So expect to work hard when you come to SOM. And I would say that the career office here is also really great because there are so many career coaches here. So you can really find a career coach who follow you very closely. You can very easily find somebody to talk to, especially when you're having a tight deadline. They're always available.
Thank you so much. Ellen, what would you say have been your main challenges? Apart from the hard work, we know that, but what have been your main challenges coming into the MAM?
I would say then getting back to like my major, which is STEM. I mean, I've been working for 7 years before the MBA and then went into the MBA doing strategy, like operations and stuff like that. But coming back to pure STEM was a big challenge. So yeah, like besides putting in the hours, you need to be very concentrated in class. Those are courses that needs extra work and like a lot of motivation. So I would say coming back to pure STEM courses was a big challenge for me.
I understand. That sounds hard.
Yeah.
Mauricio, we get a lot of questions about tuition and scholarships. I want to address this because I know the price tag of this program is extremely high, and for international students is clearly like close to impossible. But I always say that we work with the students. We have three sources of funding. We have merit scholarships, we have need-aware scholarships, and then we also have an international loan provider to work with our students. So, of course, I'm not going to ask you to share with the audience your finances and how everything worked out. But in general, how would you say that, the whole tuition, scholarship, loans, combination of the three work, and is it real that there are scholarships or not?
Yeah, I would say that you have to think in a combination of those finance models. I didn't receive a financial aid, but I've heard some classmates receive like a lot. I am very happy for them because they really need it. I received just merit scholarship, and I am funding with some savings and also with a loan from Quorum that is like the provider that you mentioned, and it's super easy to get. But it also depends on how much money do you want to spend. There are some classmates that are single and they are spending 800 a month in housing. That's kind of cheap. But there are other cases, especially when you come with families and you can spend up to, I don't know, 3,000 or a bit more in housing. So it really depends, where do you want to live, what are your real possibilities, but definitely you can survive. And something that is super cool is that it's only 1 year. So you are getting a similar degree as an MBA in the US. You will have the network of Yale SOM. You will have the email. That's super important. The email is like the biggest asset that you will have. And you are just paying for 1 year. So that's super important to mention, because if, I don't know, 2 years could be a different story for me.
The email, interesting. I've been here for 10 years, and I think I continue learning new things. I have no idea that was that important.
Yeah, so I think I wanted to add to that. So once you get the Yale.edu email, start networking, start sending emails to alums, start reaching out, prepare for your career. You already have a Yale email, people are willing to talk to you.
The open rates, the reply rate when you send an email from Yale.edu is like way higher.
But remember, do not come just to get the Yale email. Come because you're interested in the program and the education that you're gonna get here. I'm gonna answer this question. It's really quick. We're having a person who's starting their MBA in the fall of 2024, and they want to apply to the MAM in 2025. So you have to apply in the year you intend to come. So do not apply now, because you would not be joining us in the fall of 2024. Apply next year, because we want people to apply in the year they expect to come. If somebody, of course, life happens, and if somebody needs a deferral because something has happened, those are not automatic. You have to go through a committee that has to approve your deferral. So we're going to be looking into the reasoning. But for the most part, people apply in the year that they plan to come. So just wanted to get that out of the way. Okay, there's a question about deferrals, but I just answered that one. Okay, so I guess I'll answer this one as well. So the question is about the MAN doesn't have a cap on class size. I mean, it does have a cap, but we usually don't get to that point. And so success rate are in round 3 is, yes, similar to rounds 1 and round 2. Even if we had a cap and we were reaching the cap, we will always, always, always leave spots open for round 3. There's never going to be the case where we are going to tell you, oh, sorry, the class is already full in round 2. We will always balance our spots and bring great candidates in all 3 rounds. So yes, it is the same in round 3 that in any of the other 2 rounds. The only thing that might be a little bit more difficult in round 3 is what Mauricio shared before. Is tight in order to get accommodation, the visa process, if you need a visa process. So everything gets a little bit more tight because we're talking about April, you would have a decision by May and you have to be here in August. So that is not that much time for planning. So if you are really interested, try to apply in round 2 if possible, because you're going to be better off. But if you think that your application is going to be stronger in round 3, then just wait and submit a stronger application in round 3. Okay. I don't know who I'm targeting this question to. So anybody, how is life in New Haven?
I can take that.
Who wants to answer that?
Yeah. So New Haven, it's a small town. Yale has a beautiful campus. And I really focus on studies during the week in New Haven. But thanks to its proximity to New York City, I like to go to New York on the weekends to, really take advantage of what the city can offer. I also want to mention that as a Yale alum, you can join the Yale Club in New York City. So this is a great opportunity, a great platform to continue conversations and interactions with the greater Yale community after you graduate. So Yale Club also has like reciprocal clubs all throughout the world. So wherever you go, you will find a Yale base. So that's really great. Yeah.
Thank you. Another question is, how are you connecting with alumni? Are you connecting with alumni? And if so, how is that process? And again, I'm not going to target anybody in particular because I have no idea how your interaction with alumni is. So whoever has had interaction with alumni, please feel free to answer.
Yeah, I can take that. In my case, I am building a startup now, so I just want to connect with some alumni that are working in the same space, say in industry, and there are like 2 ways. One is through a web page that we have like internally, where you can have the emails from everyone who has been an alumni. But it's super easy if you just send a message through LinkedIn, and if they say that you are Yali, or you don't have to be from, they don't have to be from SOM. It's like Yale is it's not Yale SOM, it's like a broader community, as I mentioned before. And they really like to connect, and it's super easy. I think that I have had like 100% of reply rate. It's like everyone wants to cooperate, everyone wants to help in some way. So you are opening a broader community. And I would also like to mention, as Anran said, that New Haven is a small town in between New York City and Boston. So in New York, you have NYU and you have Columbia, and in the north, you have Harvard and MIT. And Yale is super respected also in between, in regards with the community of other universities. So you can have also access to not only Yale alumni, but you can have connections at MIT. I'm working with an MIT co-founder now for my company, and it really opens you like a lot of opportunities here in the US. So you have to be super open-minded, and yeah, you don't have to apply because Yale has a strong brand, but it's something super important to consider as well.
Thank you. I'm going to take this next question because it's really quick. Is there an application fee waiver? The answer is no. And there's also no a waiver for the test. That hasn't been asked, but I know we got that question all the time. Everybody has to submit a test score. We don't have a minimum test score that we're targeting, as Mauricio was saying. We look at everything. It's just another data point. But our admission process is the same for every program. And so the test score is required, and we don't waive the application fee. We still have time, but I want to make sure I give you, each of you, enough time to provide applicants or potential applicants with a piece of advice. Like, what question I haven't asked you that you would have liked to know when you were in the shoes of the applicants or potential applicants, when you were considering the program or applying to the program? What advice would you give our audience today? And Rang, I'm going to start with you.
I think a tip of advice is that be very sure what you want to get out of the program. So for me, I knew that I wanted to focus on finance, and Yale really provide a great platform. So here I met so many great investors. For example, I met Cliff Asness, who is a top quantitative portfolio manager, the CEO of AQR. And without Yale, I don't know where I could get this opportunity to meet with him, to talk to him. So that's what really was impressive for me. So I think there are also opportunities to meet, for example, Steve Schwarzman, who is the founder of Blackstone, who also founded the Schwarzman Center here. So if you are into finance, there is a lot of opportunities to talk to great investors.
Elaine, what piece of advice would you give applicants or potential applicants?
I would say, like Andrew said, but more in a more cautious way, be really sure about what you want out of this program. I mean, it's a big investment, especially I'm a mom. So I left my kids and my husband in France. So be like, Mauricio is very brave to come here with a family. But I mean, as a mom, I wouldn't be able to do it while my family is here. Because again, it's a lot of investment in time, in finances, in work. And at this moment, you have to know that like Yale is just not a magic wand that you just wave and the job opportunities come. You still have to work a lot, network, do your research before coming, and be really sure about like the weight of this program. So I would say that is my piece of advice. Be really sure about what you want to get about this program. It's a good program for education, for networking and stuff like that. But keep in mind that it's not just a magic wand that you will just show to recruiters and they will run to you.
Thank you. Very helpful. Mauricio, your piece of advice. You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry. I just want to add that if you are really interested in coming to Yale SOM, you should come to visit us. I know it's a flight travel, but if you are spending so much effort, time, and money to come here, that why not coming beforehand and meet us? I could give you my email address if you want. We can do a tour around the school and the campus. So that would be my piece of advice. I did it when I came. I visited Camino. She received me super well. I also recommend a friend to do that. That is also in the MAM program, Abhinav, who came here. So yeah, I would recommend that.
Thank you so much. I wanted to make sure I had time for you to give that advice. So I'm now going to back to the questions from the audience. So one question is, how do classes take place? Is this all in person? Is there any online? Is there any hybrid? How does that work? And let me just say that this is a full-time in-person program. So everybody is expected to come and spend the whole year with us. everybody's talking about the community, the other activities that they're doing outside of the classroom. I think that is a huge part of the program. It's not just taking the classes, it's living the Yale SOM experience as a whole. So that's extremely important. But that being said, you have to be in person. Most of the interactions are in person. Are there any opportunities for online classes hybrid, or you're taking all classes in person? How does that work? And I'm not targeting anybody in particular, whoever wants to answer.
I would go for this one. In my case, all of my classes are in person. Some friends have like one course that is online or hybrid, but in my case, all of the classes are in person, and they are very careful about attendance. At every course, there is the attendance sheet. So yeah, all my courses are in person.
Okay, anything to add?
Yeah, I would like to
Maybe
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I just wanted to add to the role case method at Yale. So role case method compared to Cook case method, which HBS adopts, is very different, because role case method is like where in the class, the case, the professor gives you a web page with different kind of media. So you will have text, you have videos, you have PDFs, like tons of information, and then you need to grasp, catch the most important information amongst this ocean of information. Unlike at HPS, the professor give you a case on like, I don't know, 16, 20 pages of PDF, and it's very clear. So why Yale invented this role case method is to really think about how, as an executive, as a manager, you access information. You know, most of the time information is not given to you in a PDF, and you have to search for information. So that's why I really enjoy this ROCAS method at Yale.
Thank you.
Yeah. I just wanted to compliment that the classes are like the attendance is mandatory, but if you for some reason cannot attend, if you are sick or something, in every class you have recordings of the sessions, so you can watch it. And I did it when my wife was pregnant. So Yale SOM has a super cool technology where you have like several cameras and angles, and the professor can explain in very different ways. So you will have access to that hybrid methods as well if you need it.
Thank you. There's a question regarding when to do the MAM, whether to do it right after the MBA or going back to work and then join the MAM. I'm gonna answer my recommendation, but then I want to hear from our participants, because you have your own experience, but also that experience of your peers. I think that it's important to have the core of the MBA recent, because then here it's mostly electives, but you just joined the second year MBAs in their classes, and they have just gone through the core the year prior. So I think that having done the MBA within the last, I don't know, 1 to 3 years prior to coming would be advisable. That being said, everybody work experience is different. So if you have a work experience that is very like heavy in, I don't know, quant, and then you want to take quant classes that are related with your work and you feel like you're still strong, I think that's something we're going to carefully look in the admission process. But anyway, that would be my piece of advice. And now our panelists, what do you think would be advisable in terms of when to do the MAN? Right after the MBA, wait a little bit, wait a long time? What would be your advice now that you're living it and that you see what your peers have done? Anybody?
I will go. So I'm doing the MIM has my second year MBA, so I'm doing the dual degree. And I think that it's easier for me because going through 2 years of MBA, going back to work, coming back to this demanding program of MIM would be difficult. So depending on how you feel, just find the time that is suitable to you. But in my case, it was easier to do it as a second year MBA.
Yeah, in my case, I took a gap year between the MBA and the MAM, and it was great. because they had the time to prepare the family, prepare the finances. So yeah, I would say that it depends on you, on what are your constraints.
Yeah, for me, I also did the doing the MAM as part of my second year MBA. I think the continuation for me was better, but different people have different circumstances, so it really depends on your situation.
Thank you. We have a question that is mostly for me. How can international students doing internship in the US prior to joining the MAM? The answer is no. The MAM doesn't include internship as part of the curriculum. So no, you won't be able to do an internship as part of the program. This is an interesting question. How many hours of classes per day do you have? And I know that might vary depending on the classes that you've taken, but what would be like the day that you're the busiest, how many hours of classes you have, and then the day that you have like fewer classes? How do you respond to that question about number of classes per day and hours per day?
Yeah, I track my time since always, so I can say exactly how many hours I've spent per course. Yeah, so in spring 1 and spring 2, it was almost the same. It was 27 hours of workload for school, just for classes and homeworks, 27. But obviously you have commuting, you have lunch, so you spend some time in between classes, so it's a little bit more. It's and you cannot be a working student because of the visa, but you can work in Yale initiatives, like on campus. So I have some friends that work in the library, for instance, and they get like around $20 an hour working there. I volunteer in a job. There are others that work in other kind of initiatives, so you can definitely be a working student, like I would say 10 to 15 hours a week, but it's tough. You will spend most of your days. I work from 8 to 8 from Monday to Friday, and usually weekends I do homeworks. So it's tough. It's not a relaxed program, just for you to know.
Thank you so much. So we're coming to the end. I just want to thank everybody for spending this hour with us. Of course, the attendees, that they are all over the world, somebody in their morning, somebody in the afternoon, somebody in their evening, somebody at night. Thank you so much. The webinar will be recorded, and so it will be made available to you, and it will also be on our website. So feel free to review, and if some of your friends or colleagues couldn't join us in the end, point them in the direction of our website. Everything will be there. Also, please reach out to us. We have an email address, which is advancedmanagement@yale.edu. If you have questions, reach out to us, personal questions you don't want to ask here publicly. And my whole team is behind that inbox. So allow us 24 to 48 hours to respond, especially if there's a weekend in between, but we're pretty good at, keeping that inbox up to date. Thank you. Lastly, but definitely more importantly, to our panelists. You have already heard how busy they are. So it really means the world to me that you are helping us in this recruiting process, because again, it's time that you're probably taking away from other things. So thank you, Anran. Thank you, Mauricio. Thank you, Ellen. I also haven't had the chance to see you a lot since you're in the program because you're so busy. So it's so nice to reconnect with the three of you because we did have interaction during the admission process. So I'm glad to hear that you guys are doing great and really making the most of the program. So thank you, everybody. Happy weekend. And again, anything, we're here. And I hope to see many more applications coming in from great candidates to have a great MAM class next year as well. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.